Now, staying in the capital city, two shootings occurred Saturday night, approximately 1 hour apart. One of those shootings involving a police officer and the death of a suspect. Fox 61's Lauren Zenzi has the details.
This holiday weekend has been anything but quiet in the capital city. Just Saturday night, two shootings occurred, with one involving an officer. At approximately 7:37 Saturday night, patrol officers responded to the area of 550 Main Street on a shot spotter activation. And when police arrived, a 22-year-old male victim was located on Front Street, suffering from a non-life-threatening gunshot wound to the right upper thigh. Preliminary information indicates the rounds were fired from a passing vehicle.
Definitely disturbing and troubling, that on this day, 2 days after Christmas, you have to have these type of things happen.
Just about an hour later, police responded to a 911 call reporting a man with a firearm in the area of 25 Gilman Street. Preliminary information from the city says when police responded to the scene, it was confirmed the man was in fact armed with not only a handgun, but also an assault rifle with a scope. After pleas to drop the firearms, an officer verbalized that the male was pointing his weapon, and the female officer fired her weapon, striking him.
This morning, the individual who was shot passed away this morning. Having reviewed the body camera footage, this is a situation where it appears to me that our officers' lives were very much in danger.
The Connecticut State Police responded. They're only going to process the scene. The detectives, not the central detectives who cover the Hartford area, they actually removed it to the Eastern District detectives. Are going to come in and cover it. And the state's attorney in Hartford isn't covering it. It's the one down in Milford. So you have some distant eyes separated from the city.
This isn't an ongoing effort to build that trust between the departments and the community alike.
These issues need to be addressed. And because right now it's very fragile, the relationship between the Hartford Police Department and the community.
And right now, transparency is more important than ever.
Having someone come in that doesn't have any relations here, doing an independent investigation, I think the more independent an investigation like this can be, the better. Having the Milford State's Attorney's Office come up, which also doesn't have a lot of interaction with the Eastern District Major Crimes, is another level of independence as well.
Reporting in Hartford, Lauren Zenzi, Fox 61 News.
And the officer who shot the individual is a 4-year veteran of the Hartford Police Department, identified as Ashley Martinez. Chief Thody says her body cam, along with other officers' body cams, were on during the incident and will be released soon.